Hey there, Rebus Forever here. First of all, let us all join in thanks to my patrons that made buying this game possible. Moving swiftly on. When I first saw this game, I initially assumed someone had made a simulator about going out locally. Upon closer inspection, it appeared to be a shameless Kingdom clone. Then I observed the minimal £2 price and bought the game without further thought. If Fluffy Hordes, though great, was too much of a puzzle game, if Kingdom left you dizzy with the amount of riding back and forth, then welcome to a one-man studio, slightly buggy game that tries to out-Kingdom, and at times may well out-horde Fluffy Hordes. And at a price so low it could be seen as a direct attempt at undermining the entire side-scrolling strategy genre. So when people look back on the economic crash of the 2020s and trace it all the way back to this game's willfully low price, don't forget that it was me that dropped this hot take, in before Jim Sterling. So, does Grim Knights live up to the current batch of side-scrolling strategy survival games? Really wish I hadn't written that down more than once. Or would the £2 have been better spent towards a Grim Knight of my own? In Unpleasant Evening, you are tasked with keeping your tavern safe through 13 nights of terror, as an evil curse upon your humble township will see undead beasties and other nasties attempting to nom all of your people and destroy all of your buildings. With a surprisingly wide range of units and buildings, including 3 tiers of tech with units ranging from spearmen and shortbows, through to knights, gunpowder, and slightly more advanced bows, you will be directly controlling your little dudes and placing workers based on your needs. A careful balance of which will keep your villagers fed and will ensure new villagers keep joining your village, so long as you have houses for them all. Personally, this works really well for me. I really enjoyed the Kingdom games, but I was constantly frustrated by the lack of an ability to just directly control my people. The village component in Disgusting Dusk, as with other games in this genre, is basically on service of a turret defense game, once you have advanced enough to build towers anyway. For me, relying more on massed ranged attacks works better than relying on melee, but you might find your results vary. The main threat comes at night, as the name of the game somewhat indicates, but further annoyances can be found beneath the ground. Every time you expand your mines, you have a chance of revealing treasure, resources, or a tomb. These tombs contain a finite quantity of baddies that will very much eat the face of whichever poor villager happened to be excavating your new mine extension. Aside from building your village and maintaining your defenses, switching between expanding your mines and supporting your villagers with troops underground to prevent rampant outbreaks of villager face-eaten-ness, and then hot-footing your melee troops back to the front line becomes a reasonable portion of your daily grind. As I said earlier, this is a game of balance. Your max pop cap, even when fully upgraded, will force you to make sacrifices, sometimes literally, and switch your serf's roles to maintain a steady flow of resources, usually food, is another thing what you will be doing, all with an eye on the main prize, which is surviving past day 13. I mean, I'm 12 hours in so far and I've made it to day 12 on normal difficulty. I'm probably going to attempt a campaign on easy just so I can tell myself I beat the game. Unfortunately, I have a sporadic bug wherein the key that is supposed to select idle workers stops working and itself becomes idle. On the one hand, if you're going to have a game bug, it may as well be ironic, but it does make late game management of my villages a bit more tricky, forcing me to manually search for idle workers rather than doing something more useful like shoring up my defenses. But yeah, aside from that one bug, I have had a great time with this game that makes its ridiculously low price a total mystery to me. Don't be put off. If you liked Kingdom but could have done with it being more of a strategy game, this is that. If you wanted that, buy this. Also, gotta say, after writing this, I hopped into the game's Discord and chatted with the dev. Explained my bug. It is a known issue. I can't guarantee there will be more patches for the game, but you could just about work around the issue I experienced. If you approach this game with realistic expectations for the price, I think you will be blown away. So yeah, thanks to the Patreons that make buying random games that might not work out more feasible once again. If you like my stuff, do some relevant Youtubey stuff if you wish. It shouldn't be too long before another content, but until then, toodle pip.